All right, so I know I wrote time sensitive, guys. I got you for like another 10 minutes. So I've got a question I want to ask each one of you, and I want you to extrapolate on. And so this is, Julie, I think you might appreciate this. When I've done in the past working, traveling the country, the world, doing biz impact analysis, trying to help clients understand, what's those things that go bump in the middle of the night that make things go wrong. And the one question I always ask is, everybody go, if you stop and think about it, what's going on in the world? What's the one thing that keeps you up at night? And so I want to go start with Thomas, and you can finish with you, Juliet. Tom, if you think about the world as we stand right now, think about right now, what's the X thing that if this happens, you're going to be really, really concerned?
Well, Brian, this one surprise you because you've educated me on this. I think climate security is the number one threat that we face, and in ways that people don't really understand. It's not just the hurricanes and the storms and the heat, but it's the forced migration of huge populations from Africa north into Europe, from South America, Central into the US. There is not a border wall high enough to keep out what the World Bank predicts will be climate forced migration toward the US in the next 20 years. Let alone for the military, rising waters are going to flood Norfolk and Coronado and major installations, threat to crops. So it's not like the existential threat in the movies where we have to go to Mars or live underground, but it's going to be a world that looks very, very different and is far more unstable. And it's almost to the point where it can't be stopped.
Yeah. And before I go to Thomas, so Tom, there was a really good podcast I was listening to. I have to find it about, it was the financial bend analyst. And you're talking about, whether or not municipal bonds are appropriately factoring in the threat to climate change. And you think about if you're doing a, say, water sanitation project in Galveston, Texas, and you're hoping to get, like right now, maybe it's still like a 5% rate, but is that for a 30-year bond? Are you really sure that project's still going to be there generating revenue? And that I got to find it, but it just sort of tells me that. I don't think you really understand.
Again, just a shout out and a thanks to you, Brian, as host. I mean, you really helped me see this clearer. So the work you're doing on this is really important.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. Thomas, what keeps you up at night?
Well, obviously the same thing that keeps Tom up. And that's why I wrote the book with climate change and demographic collapse. And I thought, man, this is too alarmist. It's just not going to work. And yet look at what we're doing. Look at the ways we're describing the world. Same with comparing America to apartheid in South Africa. I thought, I can't possibly get this past a book editor. It's just way too much. And yet it's coming at us at high speed. So agree with everything Tom says. I will make a more short-term argument of something that can get out of control very quickly. I think Israel's made it clear that it's eradicating Gaza. That's always been the plan, and that they're liquidating that ghetto, so to speak, to use an historical allusion that would probably make a lot of people uncomfortable. They're getting rid of the threat vector. They can't get rid of Hamas, but they can get rid of Gaza, and they are progressively doing it. And it's the way it's going to be. We're not going to stop that, and they know they have a solid 24 months, and really almost 48 months with Trump, even if he loses midterms badly, to do whatever they have to do. They have the writ. So does Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Okay, and I think the Israelis now are looking at the chance to really settle all family debts in the region very quickly. Not just take down the axis of resistance that they've been beating rather heavily, not just eradicate Gaza as a threat vector, but go after Iran, because you're not going to get the full benefits of the Abraham Accords, which is the one thing Trump has really done that's kind of amazing, unless you really kneecap Iran. And I think they are so back on their heels right now. I think Israel is feeling such a momentum and such a backstopping from the Trump administration that there's a very good chance that we'll go after Iran in a big regime takedown ambition sort of strike. I mean, really heavy. Not U.S. troops, but I mean really heavy, going after them. And I think that explains one of the reasons why Trump wants to get the Russia thing and take them out of that equation. So that's the one I'm worried about.
All right, Tom.
I'll just be half a minute. No, I'll just be half a minute because I have a hard stop at 1. But I think for me, I agree everything that both said, but Tom said, so I'll add a different one, which is, I worry about violence as becoming the sort of natural extension of our democratic norms. And from Elon Musk, putting the picture of a judge's daughter on to just the radicalization that's happening in this country. I think we too quickly moved past the pardoning of the January 6th organizers. There may be people there may have been a group of people, even a couple hundred, who that might have been appropriate. They got caught up in the wrong place. They have a penalty. They've served their time. And I think that could be reforming in ways. And this is the last piece. That is why the strategy to counter this has to be, you have to, is that you make that wildly unpopular. And so, various special elections or a judicial election become a way in which you're expressing that. So.
Right. Juliet, thanks so much for coming. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining.
I got class.